And let's just say
Okay.
I did the form. I filled it out. I'm like, okay, this is John Doe. I can't. I'm under client privilege now, so y'all get up out my business. John Doe. Um, y'all want to know what else? Y'all want to know besides my name?
Why are you presenting for therapy today?
Okay, cool. So I'm coming to therapy because, man, really, I have so much on my mental as far as like stress. You know what I mean? Like dealing with first. Yo, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Armand back again with another episode of Big Boss Talk, the podcast. Man, I got a great guest. Me and this big guest go back in Greenville when I was in Greenville, and we both got caught up in Amway, freaking losing money, spending money, going crazy. You know what I'm saying? But we was all in for the dream, though. You know what I'm saying? We was in for the dream. But golly, I could have had so much money. But nah, I ain't gonna do that. But Amway, I mean, it's a working company. It is what it is. It's for certain people. But me and this guest go back, and she's always been a hard, just ambitious person, motivated. Any opportunity that she could take to kind of just see if it can help her level up in life. She's always been open to the opportunity, and I just always, in my mind, commend her for being so open and always being a go-getter, because everybody's not like that. Some people are scared to take risks, but Shanise is one of those people that like, look, if it involves some money and I can make some money, I'm all for it. So it was always just being able to hang around her at the meetings, get to see her energy, because she brought a different light to the group. You know what I'm saying? Especially she was willing to be, unapologetically black when a lot of those guys were just trying to fit in and be corporate and stuff like that. But Shanice was like, nah, I'm gonna be me. I'm over here with the afro. She gonna dress how we dress. Ain't no changing. So man, I always appreciated that, and I thought that was something great that you really brought to those meetings and just brought to that group of energy, because I know it can be hard or you can feel lost in those meetings. But nonetheless, I'm gonna give y'all the rundown on Shanise. All right, so we got Shanise Goodwin, age 25. She is a marriage and family therapist. So this is gonna be interesting, right? She went to USC Upstate, got a degree in psychology. Then she went to Converse College and got another degree in marriage and family therapy. She's been seeing clients for 2 years, so she's been kind of around the practice for 2 years and has kind of been picking up her own, I guess you would say, swagger to the career and how she wants to be as a therapist. But she's been licensed for 2 months, so she's been licensed for a short time, but she's been seeing patients for 2 years, and now she's able to actually put what she's been, seeing and learning within those 2 months. So, Shanise, say what's up to the podcast.
Hi, everybody, and thank you for that, Armand.
Yeah, no problem, no problem. It's all good. But listen, Shanise, I already know y'all. To the viewers, everybody watching, y'all know how we get down. We got to get with the two truths and a lie. Shanise didn't come with her homework, so I'm gonna throw under the bus a little bit. But we're gonna see if she can get me off my game. So Shanise, let's hear your two truths and a lie.
Okay. Well, first of all, disclaimer: I don't really correct people too often, so this is probably why you're saying it wrong. But it's Shanise,
Oh my
and
God.
it's my
Cut.
fault because I don't correct people enough, and I'm trying to work on that.
I gotta do the
It's
whole
my
thing
fault. I
over,
promise.
the whole intro over, y'all.
No,
I done messed that
you
girl's
don't have
name up,
to.
Shanise. Now I take my apology. I'm always for here on out have it correct, man. You ain't never correct nobody.
That's what I'm saying. I only do it when I think about it,
All them years.
and that's something I'm working on.
I'm glad you corrected me. Now I can correct other people. Listen, it's Shanise, but not.
Yes.
So
Um,
go ahead.
two truths and a lie. So, I used to have a YouTube.
Okay.
I I used to dance.
Okay.
And I used to date a professional basketball player.
I know you can dance. You and your hunger be TikToking it up. I don't know about all that. Y'all got the moves. I can't lie about that. No, that's the truth. Hey, now she a really good TikTok dancer. Well, I mean dancing period, but her TikToks be on point. So if y'all don't follow Shanise on TikTok, y'all need to follow. But let me see. Dated a professional basketball player. I mean, it just depends on how we, look at professional. I mean, are we talking NBA? I mean, NBA status. Are we talking?
You would know about that one for sure.
Okay, and then the first one you said you used to have a YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you used to have a YouTube. I mean, I can believe it with your personality. Why not have a YouTube? I don't know if you stopped. I'm gonna just say the professional athlete is a lie, even though I know it's probably a truth. But I'm gonna just say it's a lie because I don't.
Yeah, it's a lie.
Okay. I was about to say. I was like, bro, YouTube seems so basic. YouTube seems so basic. So I was like, it can't be YouTube. But okay, cool. So tell me about your YouTube, channel, because matter of fact, you subscribed and you do have videos under your page. So I did see a little bit of YouTube videos. I don't know the whole what they was all about, but why did you start a YouTube and what was your content, before?
So basically I was going through like I guess a spiritual awakening, me trying to reconnect with God and, get my life together. And when I had did that, I felt the need to share with others about, my journey and try to help others through that.
Right.
But I realized that it was premature and I didn't really have much time for it. And it was like too quick for me trying to teach others at that time. So I stopped it and I deleted, I archived basically all my videos. So nothing's up now, but it was cool while it lasted.
Okay. Got you. So a spiritual awakening. And then number 2, you said a dancer. You used to be a dancer. Tell us about, why you stopped dancing, and it seems like you're trying to reconnect back with it. What happened there?
So I always loved dancing, but I never got into actual dancing until high school. And I joined a magnet program at R&E in Columbia called PCA. And I danced ballet, sadly, for 4 years because that's the only class I could get into with my schedule. And then I did a little bit of dancing, like, basic stuff like stroll like an alpha or something like that in college. I think my freshman year. And after that, I just kind of stopped dancing for a while because I didn't have any classes to go to. And I just wasn't really kind of like focused on that. But since I moved up here, I've been trying to like find more activities and hobbies to do self-care. Very important. And I've been doing hip hop classes almost every week now.
What? Dang. So how good does it feel to be back in like class and dancing? I know you got us be in like tip top shape, man. Cause I was in LA and I saw them. They was in the class and they was pop locking in. I mean, they had to warm up. I was like, golly.
Well, I do the beginners because I've been out of the dancing for so long. I'm like, let's do beginners hip hop, but it's still kind of like, yeah, it's still great though. But it feels good actually doing something that I love doing again. Yeah. And I doubted myself on like, am I going to be good enough to actually like catch the movements and keep going? Because for a while I couldn't, but I got back to it and I was like straight. I'm like, okay, I'm catching this like the first try. Bet. So I've been going more.
bet. And obviously the professional athlete was a lie. But if you could choose a professional athlete to date, who would you choose? We shooting our shot, manifesting all 2022. Who you got?
What's that fine man with the long African name?
He played. You talking about Antetokounmpo?
I think so.
He played for.
I think they just won.
They just won the championship.
Yeah.
Yeah, you talking
That's
about?
A fine man right there.
Man, you need to cut it out.
I would date him, I think.
Cut it out. like, listen, we gonna. I think he just had a baby or something like that. But we still gonna put it out there. You okay with being a stepmama, right?
Something like that.
Man, listen, you gonna be playing with them M's. You gonna have to be comfortable. Like, look, I play my role.
Right.
Nah, I'm just don't settle for the money. But that's cool, man. That's I mean, that's pretty awesome. I swear I didn't I figured you had it. I thought YouTube was gonna be like a lie, but it was the truth. And then dancing, I kind of know that you dance just because just been watching the TikTok. I mean, you got too much rhythm, so I was like, but I'm glad I could get that dub on you. But Shanise, we're gonna drop right into it, okay? So we're gonna talk about, I always love to start with this question, right? Obviously, right now you are a family therapist, marriage and family therapist. But is that what you always wanted to be growing up? Talk to me about young Shanise and what she wanted to be growing up, and what were your dreams and aspirations?
Okay, so when I was younger in middle school, I grew up in a household. I had a nice childhood, but my parents' marriage wasn't always like the best. Mm-hmm. And like watching them and watching their marriage and like family members' marriages, bad marriages is really like a generational curse. Yeah. And so I grew up watching that a lot, and just being in that environment, I'm like, I would really love to help men families and men marriages. Mm-hmm. Because, children shouldn't grow up watching this kind of stuff, and people shouldn't have to go through this for the rest of their life, because not everybody believes in divorce or wants to get divorced and can be on their own. So I actually one time took my parents, I went downstairs and I set my parents down. Yeah. And this was the first moment I ever became a therapist.
Okay.
I was probably like 12, and I sat them down and I was like, so what's the issue? I want y'all to talk to each other and tell what the issue is.
Not you say, what's the issue?
And that was my first ever therapy session. Mm-hmm. Wow. And so they actually talked, and I don't think we got anywhere that night, because clearly, I didn't know what I was doing, but I tried. And ever since middle school, I have been stuck on being a marriage and family therapist. I also want to be a wedding planner and stuff in the future, but this is like, I feel like this is my purpose, and I made it a goal, and I never switched up. Man, thank God, never switched
crazy.
up.
I mean, yeah, you're right. I mean, you never switched up, because most people, when they say they want to do something at that young of an age, they end up finding like a different, you know what I'm saying? They grow up, maybe they hit a class they didn't like, oh, I can't take this class, chemistry not for me, and they end up switching their major, switching their whole, dream up just because of maybe because of a class or an experience that they had, and change your whole trajectory on life. And so it's awesome to see that you stuck with it, you know what I'm saying? Meaning you had this dream, but then you saw it through, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? So that'd be cool. But talk to me about, I really want to ask, you set them down at 12, and, what was your thoughts, you know what I'm saying? As far as like, do you remember like how you felt just to set them down, or what was like your reasoning? Because some people be like, they see their parents fighting on you, and they be like, you know what I'm saying? That's mom and dad. But you was like, nah, y'all gonna have to sit down and talk this out real quick. Like what you just really wanted to see them, get along and stuff like that?
Man, we need some peace in the house. You feel me? It's all about the peace in the house. And I mean, clearly, not every woman is bad or whatever, but when you love your parents, mm-hmm. and, you have to continuously live in the house with them, you want to see better. Mm-hmm. And I'm not even ashamed to like say this, because it's no secret or whatever, but you want to see better for your parents. You want to see them happy. You just don't want to like continuously see them argue about, simple stuff sometimes. And then sometimes, harder stuff. So that's why I kind of did that. I don't remember exactly how I felt afterwards, because I don't think we like accomplished anything in that moment. But I actually forgot about that moment for years. I think all the way up until my senior year of high school. And I was like, well, I'm still on this track. And I actually remember doing that one day. Like, I remember vividly now. Yeah. And I forgot about it for a long time. But I don't know, it kind of solidified for me, like, this is my purpose. And I think that's where people go wrong with. They kind of like, try to get a career, don't really focus on what's their God-given purpose in life. Mm-hmm. And I think that's why I stayed on the track that I'm on now, because I knew what my purpose was and, what I'm supposed to be doing in life. And that was kind of just it for me.
Right. What do you tell people? Like, I know you talk about purpose, and you was like, that's kind of the thing. Like, a lot of people don't. They go the career route and necessarily don't try to, follow their purpose. But what do you tell somebody? Like, I mean, obviously, finding your purpose early is a huge like blessing. Because for me, like, I didn't know. For me, I felt like I knew what my purpose was. My purpose was I knew I always wanted to. I had a kind heart, so I'm like I always want to kind of help people wherever I can. I want to be successful, for one. I want to be the kind of the example that people can look at and say, okay, this is the blueprint of wanting to be successful. But I didn't know what I was going to actually be successful in until I actually, started doing these interviews, and I was like, man, people. I mean, what I'm doing, it might not catch on now, but it's just like for me, it's like I'm leaving a mini roadmap for like my kids. They can hop on Dad's YouTube channel and see all the different people that play a big part in the world, in different parts and different jobs, and they can say, man, Dad was on to something, and then I can expose them to so many different careers besides what what I know. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have it at my disposal, and so hopefully I want it to be the same way for other kids and just other people. You don't have to be a child, but if you figuring out like, hey, I need to make a career move, and you want to know more about the career, or you want to know about somebody's success story and really see like this is the way to do it. And so the question is, what would you say, how do you tell people how to find their purpose? You know what I'm saying? Like, how does someone find their purpose?
I'm spiritual, I'm a Christian, and that's kind of how my route went. With prayer and asking God to like show me, and I'm not the type that hears like an audible voice or nothing like that. So I ask for signs, and I try to like make sure I pay attention, like every to where I can actually. And so I felt like he revealed to me, like, yeah, this is your purpose. This is what you're supposed to be doing. At least for a little while. I don't know if I'm going to be doing this for the rest of my life.
Right.
I would feel like I am. You never know, though, because things change.
Right.
But as of right now, like, this is what I want to do. I feel like God told me, like, yeah, you're about to be out here helping families, helping individuals. Because I don't only work with families on the marriages. So I also work with individuals and teens. I work predominantly right now with the Black community.
Okay.
In addictions, substance abuse victims. But I knew in some type of way I was going to be helping people like mentally because I don't want to go into medicine. I don't like, I'm not even a big fan of medicine, to be quite honest. So mentally is where I wanted to focus on.
Pretty curious about, what it takes to be a therapist, right? I hear so many people like you need to get a therapist, you need to talk to get therapy. Tell me, for somebody that's maybe let's say they want to become a therapist, what type of person do you have to be a good therapist? You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like you take on a lot. You know what I'm saying? What you mentioned, you said I sit down with individuals, I sit down with addictions. Marriage, you're hearing a lot of negative and trying to find the positive within those negatives. So how do you keep, what type of person do you have to be a therapist? Because I would assume you have to be a very strong-minded mental person, because by hearing all that negative, you could kind of get boggled down. It could kind of mess with your mental. But like, how does someone know that they want to be a therapist?
So basically, you have to be a very empathetic person.
Okay.
And that's like basically one of the first things they teach you when you go to graduate school. Like the basic principle of being a therapist is empathizing with your client. You have to be empathetic. And if you're not, there's no reason for you to even get in this field, because like you can't just sit in a session and be like, I don't feel sorry for you. I don't feel bad for you. Like,
Yeah.
Like you have to have feelings. Like you have to, like want to help people and be like, like this is, if something in the session doesn't bother you ever, like what they're going through, then you're probably not doing something right, because something should always touch you and make you feel like, wow, like this person really needs help, really needs me. Like, let's really get working on something, So I would say that's like the basic principle. But also you have to develop having good boundaries with yourself.
Okay.
And I would say more like mental boundaries, because things can get on you and it can get heavy for you, especially if you are empathetic. You take on other people's situations, which is super hard to like, keep boundaries up with that kind of stuff. But I'm pretty good at that for the most part. I know how to keep boundaries up of like, not taking stuff home with me. I may feel it in session, but once the session is over, I gotta have my own life. I can't be worried about this.
Yeah.
Like I did what I had to do. And outside of session, I may make like a treatment plan or something like that. But other than that, I don't really take on like their feelings onto mine. And if I feel like I am, I'll take time for myself to.
Gotcha.
So definitely have mental boundaries. Definitely be empathetic. And I would say a person who really cares about themselves as well, because there's no way you'll be able to do the job and not take care of yourself. Yeah. You will not. You will fail. You gotta be like, you gotta care about self-care.
Yeah. Is there a high turnover rate in therapy? Like people want to be therapists and they start the job and they're like, I can't deal with this no more. So like they done. Like, is it a high turnover rate that you know of, or is it kind of like, or not really?
I really don't know about that. I don't know if there's like a high turnover rate, but I do know burnout is like a big thing.
Okay.
Is they don't, even if you take care of yourself, after years and years and years, it's going to be somewhat burnout, But I don't think that people like stop being therapists because of that,
Right.
I'm sorry, it's like it's about to storm outside.
Oh, it's about to storm. You in Spartanburg?
No, I'm in Charlotte now.
Oh, okay, cool. Okay, love Charlotte. But bet. So, burnout is a thing. Obviously, I think that's, like, I wanted to know just because I see that as one of the, probably a big problem within therapy and things of that nature. So, what type of, what's the most common issue you might see in therapy? Obviously, I know you have a license with your patient. You can't, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you could give generic situations, you know what I'm saying? And just see if, as much information that you can give. I know there's, client, what's they call client privilege?
Confidentiality.
Correct. So I know that's a thing, but if you could just maybe give examples, you don't gotta drop names, but what's the most common thing you see that people need want guidance with? I don't want to say help, like they got an issue, but just guidance, assistance with, with therapy. What's one of the most consistent things?
Depression, anxiety. Those are like almost every single time you get a person and you ask them about depression, anxiety, they gonna have some type of depression or anxiety coming up, like in there somewhere. Man, it's gonna happen.
I think that's with everybody.
Just about, yeah. If I work with teenagers, like especially like female teenagers, a lot of what I see is like issues like with their parents, like their mothers. I don't know what it is about teenage girls and their mothers, but there's always the issue with that. With couples, there's normally communication issues. That's like number one every single time, communication issues. And yeah, that's really like life stresses, because people think that you have to go to therapy if you're like experiencing some type of diagnosis, like mental health diagnosis. And a lot of people come to therapy because they're just trying to cope with regular life issues and regular life stress, So that's a big thing too, like just trying to figure out how to maneuver through life without crashing and burning every single time.
Word. Man, so seeing all that, what's the science behind, being able to identify, okay, this is a communication issue, or this is a anxiety, depression issue? Like, what are signs that you look for to tell you like, oh, this is what you're dealing with? Like, tell me about your process, because I think it's interesting just for me to be able to, okay, I'm talking to Shanise, I got a booking, how does your session, what goes on in your session? Like, I need you to give me a session real quick, you know what I'm saying? If you don't mind, I'll pay you on the back end. I just want to know, I want people to see the science and the method of what you do in your office. So I'm on the recliner.
Well, really, the setup is more like, so right now I work for a group practice. I have 2 jobs.
Okay.
But my like real therapeutic setting is like a group practice, self-talk and Charlotte, hit them up. But really, we send paperwork to them because right now we're virtual due to like renovations and stuff.
Right.
But we get work from we'll ask them like why they come into therapy in the paperwork. So we have like an overview. And like the first session is normally an assessment. And that's when we ask all the questions about, why you're here, what's the issue, how long has it been going on, the history of it. We ask family history, because generation curses, things passed down. We ask about like diagnosis, physical health issues, because that can play a part in your mental health as well. We ask questions basically. Not really when they come to therapy, they know what's wrong with them. Like they'll tell you like I'm depressed, or even if they don't, they ask like have you been having depressive symptoms, like sadness or fatigue, all the stuff that goes into depression. Ask them those kind of questions and they'll say yeah. But if it's somebody who's really like dealing primarily with depression, they already know that it's depression that they're dealing with. Yeah. So most of the time they'll just tell you and you kind of get them to just expand on it for the most part.
Okay, cool. Okay, so look, all right, this is the thing. We're gonna do like an experiment. And let's just say I did the form. I filled it out. I'm like, okay, this is John Doe. I'm under client privilege now, so y'all get up out my business. John Doe. Y'all want to know what else? Y'all want to know besides my name?
Why are you presenting for therapy today?
Okay, cool. So I'm coming to therapy because, man, really, I have so much on my mental as far as like stress. You know what I mean? Like dealing with first, now that married, whatever, trying to make sure that the family good. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to be. Obviously, we're past the I gotta be the breadwinner type thing. But the thing is like I feel like the responsibility to make sure my family is good, meaning like comfortable, heck, rich. You know what I'm saying? Like I want the rich. I'm claiming it, wealthy, whatever. Like I feel like the ways to get that, that pressure is on me. You feel what I'm saying? As far as like the ideas, right? Because I know working a 9 to 5, I won't become rich or wealthy. It's like you have to think outside the box. You have to have some type of ownership. You gotta have some type. You gotta have something else working for you. And so to me, since I've been trying so many things and I failed at so many things, it's like, will I ever get to that point in life? To be able to say like, yeah, look, Mom, like I'm comfortable. I got you. Like be able to, if anybody need it, I can do it. That type of pressure, and then on top of just working, you know what I'm saying, like having the podcast, you know what I'm saying, doing that, seeing if people really gonna ever catch on, or people really even find value, or am I just up here just wasting my time interviewing great people, but don't nobody really care? Like, is the world that selfish nowadays? You know what I'm saying? Like, do all we care about is the flashy stuff? Or do we have any more substance left in us to be able to care about, good stuff? And it don't even have to be me, but it's just, I just see it in other people. Like, it's other people that do great stuff, and we kind of don't care about it. Black businesses, we don't really support as much. We don't support ourselves as much. So just thinking like that, and then working, 9 to 5. Like I work in a very high-paced sales environment, where every week, almost every day, I gotta make sure I'm hitting numbers, making sure I'm doing this, because if I don't, obviously the team look bad, but then I look bad with the paycheck. You know what I'm saying? So it's like a combination. See, I'm just giving you my whole little life spiel. So so what I'm picking up on is you listening. You like, You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna let you get all this out. The head now. Okay, cool. So look, but okay, so that's what I'm dealing with. What else you would have asked me? You know what I'm saying? Like I gave you that spiel. Like it's a lot on my mind. It'd be heavy. You know what I'm saying? And I think another thing that bothers me is that I'm not super. I don't talk about it with the people I need to talk about it with. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could probably talk like this to you because we don't hang out all the time. You're not in my proximity day to day, but to tell people that's in my proximity on my day to day, I don't want them to be like, oh, you know what I'm saying? I don't want them to be nervous or feel like I can't handle it. You know what I mean? So I deal with that too. And I know people kind of, people may think like, dang, why you open up to them but you don't open up to me? But it's not like that. It's more or less like, they don't know, or what I'm dealing with ain't got no correlation with them, so they not relying on me. That type of stuff. What else you need to know?
Okay. At this point, I will go into empathizing with you.
Okay.
Like, well, first of all, thank you for sharing that, for being open with me,
Mm-hmm.
and and letting me know all the things that you have not shared with other people. So I really appreciate that. Also, I will go into like validating how you feel, because everything that you say is very much valid. Like, that sounds very much stressful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And everything you say here, I feel like falls into the role of being a man and being like a husband,
Mm-hmm.
and probably even soon to be a father, who knows, whatever you want to do down the line. And so I would probably kind of capture that, like, okay, this is like the typical, or not just typical, but like the black male role at this point, of feeling like he got the weight of the world on his shoulders, trying to carry his family, trying to carry a career. And it's very much understandable, because we don't have much support for y'all out here, sadly.
Right.
And I can understand that can be, stressful at times, and, weighing heavy on you. And so I will go to validating.
Okay.
Then I'll probably ask, like, when did all this start? I'll also ask, like, your support systems, but I know that you did say that, you don't really talk to many people that about that, which is very much normal. And I think, me personally, I feel like that's a smart decision at times, because not everybody can handle your stuff,
Yeah.
which is why we have professionals for that kind of thing. So I definitely will commend you for coming to therapy, because not a lot of black males are able to do that.
Right.
And, are able to open up in that way about that kind of stuff. But yeah, I would ask you about the history of it. I would ask you probably more details about like what exactly is stressful, but you kind of already gave me the rundown about that. Because a lot of people come in like, just everyday life stress.
Yeah.
Okay. What? Okay. Can you expand on that, please? Could you tell me a bit more about that? That's normally like the wording that I'll use.
Okay.
And yeah, you actually did pretty good. Like, with the presenting problem, you gave me a lot.
Okay.
Like, you told me like what the issue is and stuff, so that was good.
You know what I'm saying? I've been ready for therapy. But all right, so now I gave you the rundown though, but I want you to, like, after what I said, what would you validated me? Because I want people to see the science, you know what I'm saying, and how it works, and just, hopefully they understand, like, it's not to. I think what a lot of people think about therapy is like, okay, they go to therapy, they tell all their issues, and then the therapist is gonna tell them like, no, you should be doing this, or no, you should be doing that. But the people that I hear talk about therapy, you see what I'm saying. But that's what I think for black people, that's what we think, like, oh, the therapist is here to nitpick the situation and tell us what we need to be doing right. How they gonna tell us, and they not even married? How they gonna get in our relationship? They don't know what's going on, A, B, and C. But what I hear is from a lot of people that do therapy is like, it's not the therapist is there to obviously let you vent, but then it's not to tell you what to do. It's kind of just to get you to see both sides of the issue. You know what I'm saying? Just to be more open-minded versus closed-minded. Is that true, or like, what? Why do you think we get that stigma? You know what I'm saying? Why is that? Why do you think that is there? And then what do we have to do to remove that?
Mm-hmm. So we definitely do not tell y'all what to do. And if a therapist tells you exactly what to do, other than like, giving you homework to work on, then they're probably not really doing much of a good job, because the point of therapy is for you to eventually go off on your own and know how to maneuver through stuff on your own. And if somebody's telling you exactly what to do each and every single time, you're not really figuring it out for yourself.
Right.
So with you, I would ask probably like, what are your expectations of yourself? And if I feel like you're having unrealistic expectations, I will go into that. Like, okay, what do you feel like is really, is actually realistic for you to go into? Like, you feel like you may want to make all the money, you want to do this, you got all this going on, like how you were saying, but like, what is actually what are you actually able to do that's functional for you in everyday life, Like, what do you feel like you could take off your plate? Like, are you putting more on your plate than you actually should be? Like, could you take some off your plate? Because some people do that,
I feel like I could. Like I'm gonna just play along, right? I'm gonna feel we still in our session. I feel like we could. Um, by the way, I'm paying on the back end, y'all. So don't be hopping in my comments talking about y'all. You just wanted a free session. That's not it. Nah, I'm doing this for y'all, so people that want to be therapists can see what it's like, the actual conversation. And there may be people that can see, like, they can see that the stigma of therapy is not what everybody make it to be. So that could resonate with people. Say, okay, maybe I do want to go to therapy, right? I'm just being the guinea pig, all right? So you host a podcast and you can be the guinea pig yourself. But you said, can I take some stuff off my plate? I'm trying to think. Of course, I think I could take. I think I could take stuff off my plate. Do I want to? Not really. You know what I'm saying? I just wish I had the mental strength to be able to do it all. Which, you know what I'm saying? Which I know I can't. But when I feel like I'm not, and I don't know, I hear people say this is correlated with trauma, but I don't know. I just feel like if I stop or if I slow down, I'm pushing myself back. If I'm not always doing or always trying, I'm pushing myself back. You know what I mean? Like, what I want, I really want. And obviously I had to settle with, the first thing is settling with the time. You know what I'm saying? Everything is going to happen on your time. Like, I had to have a real conversation with God. I'm like, look, man, you done missed the budget, the deadline so many times. But you know what I'm saying? But it's God's time, and every time something happens, it's aligns perfectly with what you got going on in life. So I had to really come to realization, like, time ain't the issue no more. Like, no matter what happens, you know what I'm saying? You can't rush it. You can't cheat the grind. And it's just like coming to that realization, like, you don't have control over the time in which things happen. But what you do have control over is your actions, as far as how hard you work and what you do. So I say, okay, if time's something I can't control, then I can control working hard. I can control with the podcast having almost 10 to 11 interviews every single month, which is a lot. And I want to do that for a year. Like, I'm sitting down with 10, 11 people on top of working, on top of doing some other stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like and it wasn't even meant to start like that. I really wanted to drop an episode every Saturday. Now I got enough content to do twice a week. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't want to slow down because I like what I'm doing, but I feel like I'm eventually need to, because I'm going to burn myself out as far as like, just having the right energy. When you hop on this screen, I want to get the best energy possible. You know what I'm saying? I want the guests to feel like they're getting something out of it. So boom, I did that. I could take some stuff on my plate. You listening? What happens from here?
Okay. What can you take off your plate?
What can I take on my plate? See, that's a hard question there, buddy. I could take less.
And I might even go into like, I would even go to like societal factors. So I bring this up a lot in sessions. Like, society has told us that we need to do all of this to get to where we need to be in life in our 20s. And the truth of the matter is, like, it's still our 20s. Like,
that's a fact.
Like, we are so young and we still have time. And even if we don't have time, it's like, dang, we wasted the time that we did have doing all this and not even enjoying our lives.
Right.
So it's like, dang, if we were to die today, we really did not even enjoy what we were supposed to enjoy because we were doing all this. I'm a big pacer. Me personally, I learned how to pace myself in everything I do. Because if I don't, I'll get overly anxious and I start having panic attacks. I ain't got time for all that.
Oh my goodness.
So I learned how to like schedule things. I was bad in graduate school, man, let me tell you. But I learned how to like schedule things out. I don't do, if I have something I need to do every day of the week, I don't do more than 1 or 2 things a day. And I make sure I have time to like watch TV, do self-care time or whatever at the end of the day. And I won't do this much self-disclosure, in session because it's more about the client, of course.
Right.
But yeah, I would ask you like, what kind of things could you take off your plate? You know, because obviously you have a wife, so like, what are some things you feel like, or you can have a conversation with her about, you know, something that she might can take on that could help you? Because a lot of people in relationships, they try to do everything at once and they forget they have a whole partner that can also do stuff. It can also help them, especially like men, husbands, because, you know, we got to be the ones that like carry the family. Like, no, you don't. You don't have to carry the whole thing. You don't have to carry everything. Sometimes your wife or whoever can, you know, help you with certain stuff, and you can, like, you know, lay a little bit on her that, you know, you feel like she could handle, or she feel like she can handle, you know?
Gotcha.
And so I will go into all that about what society is teaching us, because it's very much unrealistic that we're going to get everything done all the time. Like, all of us, it's millions of us. Ain't no way we are about to become rich before 30. It's just not about to happen, man. Cool. And so unrealistic expectations is like a big thing I bring up. Scheduling and planning things is a big thing. Okay. Also, I will probably bring up for you, like how you say, you know, that you would burn out. What would happen if you do burn out? And you probably will go into like, you wouldn't be doing much of nothing. Then if you know your finances really failing because you burnt yourself out instead of pacing yourself, you know. And so I would probably go into that a little bit more.
Okay, Doc. I see you next week at 3. Appreciate that. Appreciate that session. All right. So look, mini little session. Y'all kind of got to see a little bit. You saw a little bit of my transparency, but I'm cool with it, man. I feel like, you know, telling people, you know, transparency, you know, being transparent to others, you know, allows them to know that you're human too. You know, everybody don't have the answers. Everybody, you know, working through it. Life is hard. You know, once, I don't know what age I got to where I was just like, dang, this is not what I signed up for. But, you know what I'm saying? But Shanise, I want to get back to you. You talked about, you know, your panic attacks and all that stuff, and, you know, in school. But tell me, what do you feel like, and I don't know if you had it or not, but tell me, what do you think is maybe your lowest point in your journey so far? You know what I'm saying? Like, what did you go through, or, you know, what things did you go through and have to endure to get to where you are to say, hey, I'm doing it. You know what I'm saying? I'm sticking to what I wanted. If you don't mind, I know that some people don't always want to share, but it's always good. I just want to get people to understand, like, listen, everybody is going through something, but you gotta keep moving. You know what I'm saying? We had this conversation is to encourage and, you know, empower people. So just tell me a specific time, or, you know, maybe something that you had to deal with, and just how you got over it and what you had to do.
Okay, yeah. So basically, I had to continuously remind myself that I'm qualified. Like, I'm okay. Like, I am good enough. I can do this, because I was in a program that had three Black people, 3 Black women, and I was one of them. And I think it was probably about 15 or 17 of us. The rest was like, you know, white women. I think like 2 white males. So it was always, I'm like falling behind, like, yo, I cannot keep up with this work. Like, I'm scheduling stuff, but I'm not on my stuff as much as everybody else.
I got you.
And I leaned on my classmates a lot, because I'm like, what was we supposed to do again for this for this assignment? Like, I was that person. I was asking questions, honey, and I had to make it through school.
For sure.
But it was so much to remember, because it's so much work. Yeah. And it's like, sometimes you do have to lean on other people, but sometimes it makes you feel like you're not qualified to do this, like you're not good enough to do this, especially when you're like the minority in the group and you see all these other white people. Right. Yeah. You see all the other people who's not really, I guess, asking as much questions as you. And they could have been just suffering in silence, because we were very open with each other. Yeah. And I love them so much, because, you know, it was like teamwork trying to get through school. Right. But I was more open about, like, you know, like, yo, this junk is like crazy here. Yeah. It's too much work. Yeah. And a lot of times it was like, they got their stuff together a little bit more than I do. Like, when it comes to having activities in session. I'm not a big activities person. I'm more of a like talker and processing, through talking.
Right.
But they'll have like activities and different things. Like they'll incorporate a lot of things in their session. I'm like, should I be doing the same thing that they doing? Not even realizing like we are all individuals and we all going to have our different styles of therapy. Right. And so reminding myself that I was qualified was like a big thing. And it was kind of aggravating to me because I never really felt like I wasn't qualified to do, this until I got in school. Right. And I'm like, why am I feeling this way? And I had to keep on reminding myself, like, it's okay. You're going to make it through. It's okay. Yeah. Like, even if you at the bottom of your class, which I don't think I was, but even if you're at the bottom, like, you still made it, bro. Yeah. Like, it's okay. And I have to do that a lot. That was probably the lowest time for me. That I think there was one time where I just really did not feel qualified at all. And I was like, this is not for me. Like, I'm not doing what everybody else is doing. I feel like I'm behind. And I wasn't, which is funny because I think all A's and probably like 1B in my whole graduate program. Man, but I just felt like I was behind everybody else. And that may not have even been the case. And I really just feel like it was just, a lot of stress on me. And I was just getting discouraged at times. Yeah. But I learned so much in graduate school to like validate myself, which is something that I teach. Mm-hmm. I get all my clients to learn how to validate yourself. Yep. Have grace on yourself. Those are like the two big things. And, of course, pace yourself. Those are the three major things I did to like get through and get to where I'm supposed to be now, actually. Right. So that was my downfall. That was my down point of not feeling like I was worthy to be a therapist or worthy enough to graduate.
That's crazy.
I'm there myself.
Yeah, man. Listen, you are worthy. You deserve it. You there. You qualified. Yes. You know what I'm saying? You doing the thing, staying strong. And I feel like a lot of, like I say, a lot of minorities, black people, we do suffer with that. Sometimes, especially when you already second guessing yourself because you walking into a space where people gonna look at you like, dang, why you look like that? Why you dress like that? Why your hair like that? Oh, that's not professional. You don't look the typical cut up, suit and tie, clean cut, no beard. You know what I'm saying? They that's kind of what most people are accustomed to. They feel like that's the picture of professionalism. But professionalism isn't how you look. It's just how you carry yourself. It's how you talk, how you conduct business. If you're an honest person and you can be on time, you can get the job done honestly well, you're a professional no matter how you look. So we already kind of deal with that. And then on top of that, maybe we putting more pressure on ourselves because we know we the only ones and we being looked at. So now you got to be better. You got to do better. Stressing about that. With that stress, it's like, all right, now you pushing, rushing yourself. You know what I'm saying? So you diagnosed yourself really, but you gotta, give grace to yourself as well, man. I think I had a week like that where I was just kind of like second guessing myself, sometimes at work and just, should I even be doing this? You know what I'm saying? Like, I just wish the podcast was at 100% so I wouldn't even have to worry about y'all. Like, it's me. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's me. But I think it's something that we all go through. I think, I appreciate you for sharing that and just, really talking us through. So, last thing I do want to talk about is, with your friends, right? I know you have you might possibly have a select group of friends. They know you're a therapist. Like, do you have to tell them, like, listen, I'm not your therapist. I just want to have fun tonight. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to hear all your like, listen, I get enough of that at work. So is there boundaries between, like, your friends or, like, what they can talk to you about? Obviously, you're gonna be there for them. Like, if they need to talk about something hard or difficult, but is there ever a time where you get to, like, I need to cut it off? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I've only had probably like one friend that came to me on some like they need therapy for real type stuff, and I had to let them know like I literally can't do that. Like, it's unethical. We have a code of ethics. I cannot treat family. I cannot treat friends like on a real level. I can just be, a friend and give you like, regular advice and whatnot. But my friends, they don't normally like come to me to like get advice and stuff like that from me. And the reason being because They don't like the way I talk to them, man.
Oh my God.
I am.
Not you
Shanice
brutal.
is different.
Look.
Yeah, like Shanice is different from therapist Shanice, for sure.
You been
And
you gotta be empathetic, but 8 hours out the day, you gonna
and I
get this
am.
raw, uncut. You ain't get it together. You being soft right now.
Right, because I'm very honest and they know that. So I do have friends that come to me like, I know you're gonna keep it real with me, blah blah blah. Just tell me like what you think about stuff. But that's cool. But my friends don't come to me too often because they don't like the way I say certain stuff. But I'm like, they say it's my tone, but truth be told, when somebody don't want to hear something that they don't want to hear, it don't matter how you say it.
It don't matter how you say it.
They gonna be mad.
You can say it the
They gonna be
sweetest.
offended.
You can say it the sweetest way possible.
Exactly.
Exactly.
And I'm a Sagittarius. I'm not really big on signs and whatnot. I don't really believe in too much. But apparently we are like really honest people. And I guess I'm like a true Sagittarius at times. And they don't like that as much. So I actually had to cut down on my opinions and whatnot with my friends because I was like, sometimes it's unwarranted. Like sometimes people really don't need your opinion. They just want you to listen to them, which is most of therapy anyway, listening. So I don't really have to put up like much boundaries when it comes to friends. Family, that's a bigger boundary because my family, all sides of my family, I got like 3 different sides. But all sides of my family, we messed up, man. Like overall, it's like, we need help. We need work to be just better family. And I think that's with all families personally.
It's all family.
So right. And they'll be like, we need you. Come in here, help us out, blah, blah. And I'm like, I'm like, listen, I'm in the mix. I can't be a therapist when I'm in the mix.
They gonna see some bias. They gonna be like, no.
Right. Right. And I also can't even treat people who I have contact with on social media. If you're like a friend on social media with me, I cannot have you as a client. Wow. Because I know too much about you already. And the point is to be unbiased as much as possible. And if I already know, like if I already have preconceived notions of what's going on in your life, I can't be unbiased towards you, Yeah. So I do have people like distant friends who hit me up quite often and like, can I get a session with you, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't do that due to like ethics and whatnot because you're a friend of mine and we see each other on social media. I can't do that. Wow. Which is why now I have my friends and stuff like private and I have to accept people and whatnot. And so that is a hard part because they get very disappointed that they can't have me as a therapist. Some people do want people that they know.
Yeah, they do.
I already know you. Yeah, so I already feel comfortable enough like sharing stuff with you. And it's like, I'm sorry, I can't do that, but I can refer you, to somebody. So I would do that if anything, if I know somebody like in the area. Wow. And so, that's really what I've had to deal with. I put disclaimers on my posts and everything. Like, I'm sorry, I cannot. I've got clients. I put disclaimers on a lot of stuff so they know in advance.
Wow, that's crazy. I did not know that. But
I figured you had to turn it off sometime. You know what I'm saying? And it's funny to me that you say that. Oh, I'm brutally honest with my friends. It's like. You tired of being empathetic and hearing people like I'm not saying complain, but it just at some point it kind of feels like, all right, God dang, but you can't have that in therapy. So that's the hard part. You got to be empathetic. And so for me, I'm just like, okay.
Well, it also depends on your client though, because I let my personality also come out in sessions. I'm like, girl, please leave me. But I may say something like that to my friend. I can't even lie. Like, I'm sorry, brother, you need to leave him. Like, you gotta let him go. But I would not say that. I would never say that to a client. Like, for a client, I may be like, do you think that he's the best fit for you? What do you want? Does he fit that? Like, I'll ask processing questions.
Right.
And I think people get preconceived notions that, like, I am going to give them advice. Because I even had somebody tell me, I'm not going to the therapist so they can tell me the same thing I tell myself. Well, how's that working for you? For one, like, you still struggling. You've been struggling for a very long time. So how's that working for you? And not just one, but I had multiple people tell me that. And I'm like, the purpose to figure out how to process stuff. And
Yeah.
processing is basically asking yourself a whole bunch of questions,
Right.
So I forgot where I was going with that. But yeah,
No.
I do have to keep boundaries and stuff like that with friends and family.
Man, that's good, man. You gave me a lot of gems today. I really fit. Therapy is an interesting top. Like being a therapist is an interesting career to me. I feel like I could be a therapist to a certain extent. Like I feel like I'm a very empathetic person. I feel like I can listen. Um, I just don't know. I feel like I'm gonna start telling people what to do. Like, nah, bro, you need to come on, man. You need to
And it's hard. It
get
is
up.
hard to not do that.
Yeah, see that's what I would do. I'd be like, you need to leave, and then they gonna be upset at me, and I'm be like, all right, let's rewind. I ain't say that. Now let me hear what you gotta say again. And so, but
Yeah.
but nah, Shanise, man, I thank you so much for coming on the podcast, man. I think we want to have a good hour worth of content where you just talked about your career, you talked about the highs, the lows. You talked about, just the day to day and some of the things that you have to do to keep your lifestyle running the way you want it. And personally, with the techniques that you teach, is day to day with getting better. Going through life, getting better is day to day. Every day ain't gonna be a good day, but you always got to find the silver lining and push forward on the other side. So, but Shanise, what I do is I play this little game, and I ask five to six questions, and you got to answer them in less than 5 seconds. And then after we do this, then we're gonna go into I'll need to get a suggestion from you. So somebody that you think personally is super dope, that fits the mold of the podcast and feels like is interesting to you, and we're gonna suggest them on the show, and then I'm gonna get them on the show with your help. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, sounds good. So you ready for the questions?
Yes.
All right, here we go. 5 seconds now.
Okay.
Favorite TV show to binge watch? Uh-oh.
Lucifer. Oh God, I can't think.
Lucifer. Is that good?
That's a really good show. And it's not even my favorite, but that's the only thing I could think of at this moment. But it's really, really good.
Okay, I'm gonna have to check that out. Okay. If you could time travel, what period would you go back to?
The year I was born.
You want to go back as a child or as an adult?
As an adult, just so I can see
Okay.
what life was like. The 90s,
Yeah, get them good vibes. What's more memorable, movies or music?
Music.
Music. What's your favorite?
Yeah.
What's your favorite
Because you
song?
could literally. I'm sorry.
I said, what's your favorite song of all time?
Of all time, I do not have one because I listen to so much music and I'm like if 5 songs come up in a row that I like, it's my favorite song. All of them my favorite songs. But I'll definitely say it's more memorable because even if you like riding somewhere or you see something or you hear a song, you may think of like a time that you was listening to that song. It will always bring up a memory for you. For me, at least.
Yeah, I know a lot of people feel that way about music. I even feel that way about music, but for me, I say movies, just because I can do the exact same thing with a movie. But people say because, like with a song, you don't necessarily have to be paying attention. You could just kind of hear a beat, and you can kind of remember where you was at, what you was doing. So it's a little different. But I say movies, but a lot of people say music. What's something or activity that you can do every day besides sleep?
Eat.
Man, let me tell y'all, man. Shanise she's skinny. I mean, she's a skinny person. Not skinny, she's just slim. And if you gotta see
I'm
her.
slim thick now, thank you.
If you see her, you'll be like, man, this girl does not like to eat. And it always be the skinny people that love to throw down.
Yep.
All right, here we go. So 25 hours in a day. How do you spend the extra hour?
Probably watching more TV.
More TV.
I be chilling on that couch. Let me tell you something. I be chilling. I
Yeah.
watch some TV now.
And then last one is, what's the quality people enjoy about you?
My really my personality. I think I'm funny. Actually, I know I'm hilarious. Actually, um, I'm pretty hilarious most of the time. I have a great sense of humor. I'm animated. Let's say that I'm very animated
Okay.
at times.
Cool. I don't know. You yeah, like you say, at times. I feel like you the most animated when you got that camera on you. Like I seen you,
Really?
yeah, because I ain't never known you to be like outgoing like that when we was having the meetings and stuff like that. I thought,
Because we was in them stuffy behind meetings. That's why.
oh. Okay, but that's what's up. That's what's up. Glad we got to play that. It's interesting just to get what people a little bit more insight on the guests and just in a fun and different way. But now we ready for your guests. Who you got for us?
I was actually thinking about this for a while, but it just came to me. The only person I can think of now is my brother, because everybody else is still trying to establish their career and stuff. But my brother, he's in the Marines.
Wow.
And he was a drill instructor, but I think his cycle is over now, so I'm not sure exactly what he's doing.
Okay.
But he's been in the Marines, I think, probably a little over 8 years, probably close to 10, I believe. And he's really been doing his thing, so I would recommend him.
That's what's up. We get that family connect. All I ask is that if you can give me however he likes to be contacted, where is Instagram, email, phone number, however he can be reached. I would love to be able to reach him. But if you could just let him know, like, hey, I just did this podcast for this dude I know, Armand. It's for a good cause. He's just trying to show different careers that that black people can see that maybe they didn't know was possible for them, but they can do it, or they didn't know it was easy to obtain and they can do it. So he's gonna reach out to you. You could tell him yes or no. It doesn't matter. He's not gonna be, I'm not gonna be upset or anything. But cool. We're gonna get your brother on here. What's his name?
Eli.
Okay, cool. So we're gonna get Eli on here, but I just need you to set that up for me and give me that warm toss so that way I can get connected. But other than that, what you got planned for the rest of the day?
I'm about to clean.
Oh.
And probably chill some more.
Man, I'm with you.
It was a Saturday, man.
I'm with you. I need to relax and take a few Zyrtec because I'm over here struggling. So I'm gonna take me some allergy medicine and go down.
Yeah. Do you do self-care? Do you intentionally do self-care?
What you mean self-care?
Like a self-care routine, like mine would be every month, but used to be every week. I would go out to Applebee's and have time with myself or watching TV.
Do I do self-care?
Sometimes I take a shower and music.
Nah, I feel like this is my self-care as far as talking to people. I haven't missed a Saturday yet where I'm not, what I'm saying, talking to people or during the week. Self-care, you mean me time? That's what you're saying?
Yeah.
That's a good
something
question.
That relaxes you, because this right here is cool, but you working. So this ain't real self-care.
That's
something that's going to relax you and give you a little less stress.
Self-care. Man, I can't even say I do. Something that I just do that's going to relax me. I mean, on the couch, watching TV every now and again, but I don't have an activity that I just do and be like, oh, this is, I don't know. Maybe I should go to the gun range or something. Give me something. I got to find something, something quick.
Yeah, it don't even have to be big activity, but like how you said, sitting down watching TV. But for me, self-care is more intentional. So taking that time each and every day, and even if you don't have time every day, every other day, or once a week to do something to wind down.
Yeah.
And that would be my therapeutic advice for you, since you're so stressed.
Yeah.
Take and have some self-care time.
Yeah. I get stressed. I ain't gonna say I get stressed at a high level. I ain't gonna say it's a chronic thing where I'm just always, but I do wonder and think a lot and just make sure. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that, Doc. I'm gonna let you know when I find it too. When I find myself, I'm like, Shanise, look, this is what I'm doing. I'm intentional about it. This is me. But Man, I'm gonna do that.
I
But
meet you up in 2 weeks and ask.
2 weeks. I got homework.
You got homework.
Nigga, I got homework. bet. I'm gonna take my homework and I'm gonna do it too. I'm gonna find me something that I could be intentional with and just be like, all right, this is what I do for me. So we gonna do it. But other than that, I'm gonna give you a Saturday back, man. If there's anything you need, any way I can help, with the podcast or whatever whatever you need, just let me know, man. I appreciate. I always want to tell people I thank them for hopping on the screen and being able to talk about their career and be honest with people, because I know y'all could have easily said no or felt uncomfortable, but you guys said yes and you didn't mind hopping on here with me and having a conversation. So whatever you need, if you any favors, just let me know, and if I can do it, I'll do it. And that's it, man. I'm gonna give you back the rest of your day, but it's good seeing you and good talking to you.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, anytime. I was like, man, who should I get? And I was like, man, I've been seeing.
You already know I'm down. Like, every single time you contact me about something.
Yeah, it's always
like,
every time.
Let's do it.
Listen, every time if I gotta go to war with somebody, it's gonna be with Shanise. I'm telling you, I'm like, look, I gotta go slap somebody. You down? I got you. Come on. So, man, I appreciate that. But man, you have a good one, okay?
All right, you too.
All right.